Hey everyone, wanted to talk a little bit about my latest purchase here. This is my very first riding mower. I've got a new property here that's got an 1.5 acre lot with a decent sized hill in the front. The back of the yard's nice and level and beautiful, but the front's got some hills on it that I think a lawn tractor might struggle with, so I ended up going with a garden tractor, which is much more heavy duty. Big rear end in it, big transaxle. Hydrostatic, big axles, should be able to handle it no problem. This is a Cub Cadet GTX2100. It's a 2012 model year. Let me see if I can show you here. Here we go, 2012 GTX2100. And so it's got some nice options. It's got the electric deck, up and down, lift up and down. It's got electronic power steering. It's got 23 horse Kohler motor. Big hubs, big rear end. It's got a huge 54-inch fabricated deck. Forward and backwards pedals. Just a nice heavy-duty machine. I've used it 3 times. Now it's got about 210 hours on it. I mean, I haven't even really looked it over too closely. It ran great, didn't give me any troubles at all. It's got an electronic PTO clutch. I mean, it's just a great machine. So what I want to do is now give it a good thorough inspection and service it. So I think I'm going to pull the deck off. I want to power wash the whole machine and then get a good look at what I've got. And something's going on here in the front of it. I mean, look at the hood. The hood is plastic. And as you can see, something is going on here. It's melting. Ugh. Yeah, so we got something going on here. The hood is plastic, it's melting, it's very close to the muffler. I don't know if it's just needs more heat shields, if it's running harder than it should. We're going to find out though. I'm going to go clean it up. I'm going to change the oil. I'm going to put a new filter on it. And just do a thorough inspection. I'm going to service the rear end, change the filter and fluids back there as well. And see if we can't figure out what's going on with this hood. I did buy another hood for it, but I'm not putting it on until I can run it without this hood melting anymore. So try to figure out what's going on with this. But the first thing I want to do is remove the deck and then clean everything so that I can get a good visual inspection and then service it. And it should be great machine for the next, I expect to have this thing for 15 or 20 years or more. So in order to keep it that long, we got to keep the service up. And so I'm going to go through it and just check and inspect everything. And I will take you along for the ride. But step 1 is to remove the deck, which I don't think is very difficult, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, so the first step for removing the deck is to get it in its lowest position. So lower it down, and if you've got a mechanical lift, might have a lever here. This is electric, so I'm going to lower this down. Okay, so deck is all the way down. That's step 1. Okay, once you've got the deck all the way down, you come over to the left side of the machine, and we've got this lever right here with a 1/2-inch square cut out of it that you can put a ratchet in. So you put this ratchet in here, and now you're going to swing this back towards the rear of the machine. It's got a heavy spring on it, and when you do that, it's going to take the tension off of that belt, and then we're going to pull the belt off of that pulley right there. Okay, I'm here by myself, and this spring's got quite a bit of tension, and it's going to be difficult to hold the lever back and reach in there with my fingers to get that belt off. So what I'm going to do is I put that ratchet on the lever, put a little extension on it, and I'm just going to use this post to now remove the tension. Put the brake on and hold it there. So now the belt should be loose. We'll go around the other side and pull the belt off. Okay, with that lever now being held, this belt is now loose, and I should be able to lift it off of this pulley. Come on. There we go. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to release the brake and back the mower up and remove the tension on that pulley, which is substantial. Okay, I don't know how I would have been able to hold that with one arm and move that pulley with the other without the fear of pinching my finger in between there, but that's how I did it. You can figure something out, but that seemed to work well for me. Okay, here's a little tip. This deck, this 54-inch fabricated deck, weighs 300 pounds. And so when you lower it to its lowest position, it is still hanging down on these pins that we need to pull out in the next step. So what I've done is I got a 2x4 and another block of wood. And so when I lower the deck down, the deck is now resting on this wood, and instead of hanging on the pins, which we're going to have to pull out to disengage. So you might want to consider trying that. Okay, here are these pins, one on each side. Now I've got the deck resting on the blocks of wood so that they're not hanging on this pin, which makes it a little easier to disengage. Pull it out and we'll swing it around like that. And then on the other side we'll do the same thing. And here's this pin on the other side. And that's released. And this deck is heavy. So now it's sitting on top of those blocks. And now the final step is to either move the deck forward and unhook it, or move the tractor backwards and unhook it. I'm going to try and move the tractor backwards. That sounds like it'll be easier. I'd rather fight the tractor than the deck. So I'm just going to grab the rear wheel and pull it backwards. Or the front wheel. Okay, and there we are. And now this deck should be free from the machine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to raise the deck, which will raise up the arms and get them out of the way. So let me raise the deck up. So those arms are clear, and now this deck should be able to slide right out from under the tractor. Before it can slide out of the tractor, I think you need to turn the wheels to the left. So it will clear the front tires. Now the deck should slide right out. Okay, now I'm going to slide this deck out. It should come right out. These were the blocks that it was sitting on underneath here. And so there's the 54-inch fabricated deck. This thing is large and it's heavy. It weighs 300 pounds. But, you know, it's attached by these two spring-loaded pins. 1, 2, and a hook on the front. And remove the belt. And it comes off. And installing is just the reverse. So there you have it. Thanks for watching.